George McDermott, April 4th, 2013. I'm down here at the Superior Court for District of Columbia. Been down here since 9:30 this morning for Roy Saxon. She's still in there discussing things with hopefully an attorney who hopefully will help her straighten out the mess. What I saw in the courtroom today was disheartening to say the least. Her husband was there on a contempt order for not paying child support, and the judge somehow or another turned things around, gave him some kind of a plea agreement, and then started questioning her abilities. And then she brought in the stuff from New Jersey, and for the circuit court, and said that she has nothing to do with what happened in the circuit court in New Jersey. Denied all of Lori's motions, alerting the court that massive fraud has been perpetrated on this court and on the court in New Jersey. So I have no faith in this court whatsoever. After meeting with Elena Sassauer last night, I went into court and checked to see if Judge Holman is still on the bench. And I'm going to try to file a motion to have all her charges dismissed and her record expunged based on the fraud on the court by the U.S. Attorney's Office, who didn't provide any discovery. They obstructed justice, and generally they did everything they could to destroy Elena and to falsely imprison her for 6 months in D.C. prison. I met with Elena in Glendora last night at the City Museum in New York City. I'm going to put part of that interview up here on the record. So this is George McDermott signing off from the land of the scam and the home of the fraud, the Superior Court for Washington, D.C., April 4th, 2013. God bless and have a good day.
Up here somewhere.
It's already shooting.
So which button do I hit? Or I don't hit anything. Do I need to hit a button?
No, it should be a little red button should be.
Oh, it's recording. It's recording. So who do we have here?
Who do we have here?
So we have what we honor is, right? For us, the most important.
Senate Judiciary Committee and put in jail for 6 months. You know what she's put in jail for?
No.
I've got the video on my website. It's just a fat fact. She waited till Congress was over. They told her there was going to be here. She went to Washington, D.C. to oppose 3 corrupt New York State appellate judges who were being promoted to U.S. District Court.
Good for you. Right?
She waited till the hearing was concluded, till the chairman hit the gavel and said the hearing is over. And she stood up and she said these words: "Mr. Chairman, I respectfully request to speak."
Now I said, Mr. Chairman, citizen opposition to Judge
Yeah, but that's what you said.
based on his documented corruption as a New York Court of Appeals judge. May I testify? And for those words respectfully spoken after the hearing had already been announced adjourned, I was nonetheless arrested with confident and
Was in D.C. prison for 6 months.
anyhow, I think that we can now adjourn this with
And they asked for nominees for next year. Her mother should definitely be.
obviously you would think that he's paid to promotion.
No.
I am so blessed to have such a...
You know, it's an amazing story.
And this woman is so kind because I did not have a program.
Oh,
She was kind enough to pass down along her.
you're absolutely welcome. You seem like a reasonable person. My name is Melody Ward. I work for the Shelley and Donald Rubin Foundation. The Shelley and Donald Rubin Foundation.
Thank you for doing that.
You're very welcome. I'm also a cinematographer and a video editor.
Oh, I wish I had one of you ones. I need one bad.
I'm a technical advisor. I take a lot of the experience that I've learned in the IT and publishing and media markets, and I apply it to nonprofits. So I do a lot of research to find, there's a lot of free resources out there specifically for nonprofits, so I help bootstrap them.
Well,
I do, and I will hook you up, and here's your camera back.
I'm trying to get a nonprofit set up right now, but
Women someday. This is really inspiring and amazing to be here. Use the mic. As a media maker, I should know that, right? Sorry. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Okay. I met Glendora back in 2005 when I worked at Manhattan Neighborhood Network, Manhattan's public access station here. And we had a phone relationship for about a year because Glendora lives upstate. Before I actually met her in person. And she always invited me for lunch. Okay, I guess I'll go up and meet this woman I've never met before. And in that, I decided that I wanted to make a documentary film about women in public access TV and community media. And there were 3 women specifically I had planned to follow. And I kind of got stuck on following Glendora for 5 years and made a feature-length documentary about her very long history in local television in the New England and New York area, and then when cable access came in the late 70s and 80s. So I learned about her 7-decade career in local TV, and I was really impressed with the way that she put importance on documenting the stories of the local community, so the little people. And I learned a lot along this path of being with Glendora about persistence and about resilience against institutions in particular that try to censor the local people's voices and from our communities. In 1994, Cablevision canceled Glendora's public access TV show for not liking something that she had to say. And instead of letting them violate that public access law that states that no PEG station may exercise editorial control, what did Glendora do? She went to the library, studied the law, and then represented herself against Cablevision and won. And no offense to any lawyers here, but she does not believe in lawyers. She believes in the law and representing herself. And since that, she had taught a lot of people in the communities she's inserted herself in and her television community about the law, and a lot of them have represented themselves. One man is here all the way from Washington, D.C., who she inspired and taught about the law, and he's won some cases against some corrupt judges. Which is a big fight. So she's taught me to represent myself, the power in self-representation, and that we all must really fight for what we believe in, like all of the women who have been honored here today and in the years past, and Clara Lemlich especially. In these struggles, in Glendora's struggles, she's taught me to be informed of those injustices that happen in this world. And knowing our rights is to be happy. She's really stuck on happiness, which I think is something that seems really difficult to get a hold of sometimes. We all deserve happiness. She has a really unique sense for the human spirit when she seamlessly inserts herself into different communities, regardless of their religions, race, class, gender, sexual orientation, and she gives space to these people in her communities to tell their stories to the public, and especially those stories that aren't covered in mainstream media. Glendora's show right now is on 68 cable stations across the United States, and I think that she makes community media to inspire others to do the same and to document their histories and the richness in their histories and the importance of our histories. And if anybody tries to stop us, make a big stink about it, and put it on TV. And also I've learned from Glendora that a little bit of humor goes a long way. So thank you, and thank you Glendora for teaching me.
Hi there, folks. Do you believe in miracles? Well, Vicki and I came down from Albany today, and we found a parking place. And Esther Cohen, I asked her, do I have to give a speech? And she said, yes. And I said, well, how long? And she said, 5 minutes. So I'm going to save the last 2 minutes for the applause. Harry says, if I ever have a heart transplant, I want the heart of my boss. Why? It's never been used. I regret to inform you that this month's clairvoyance meeting has been canceled due to unforeseen circumstances. A midget fortune teller escaped from jail, and the headline in the newspaper was small, medium, and large. The lawyer said, I want a new trial on the basis of new evidence. The judge says, what's the new evidence? I just found out my client has another $10,000. Adam is talking to God, and he says, God, why did you make Eve? And God says, I thought you were lonesome. Well, God, why did you make her so beautiful? So you would like her. Well, God, why did you make her so dumb? So she would like you. This church had a Bible And the parishioner said, well, what did you say to the people to sell them those Bibles? And he said, I just said, do you want to buy a Bible, or do you want me to read it to you? Well, folks, the activism started during 1950s and 60s. I was on TV for General Electric. And it was a children's show, and I wanted to start out small. And Bobby Reno said it was a ship. And I was the skipper. And I told him that the SS Glendora stood for steamship, and they said, no, it stands for stupid show. And Bobby Reno said, you showed us little girls that we could grow up and be skippers of a ship. And we could grow up and be skipper of a satellite. And so that was kind of a good thing for young ladies to know, that the world wasn't run by men. And then the next thing on TV was being able to go on TV and in 30 seconds, tell 4 jokes and do a pitch. And those were, you probably remember those were all around WNBC TV, WCBS TV, and WABC TV here in the great New York market. And then came the Glendora Happy Book. And it said, count 15 blessings every hour. And rejoice about something every quarter hour. And then came physics and love. Physics and love. What you people are talking about here tonight is love. And it occurred to me, and doesn't it to you, that love is a force. And it follows all the laws of physics. Newton's third law, Newton's second law, Newton's first law. And that's what you've been doing all of your lives. A force. Mass acceleration. Mass acceleration and moving people onward. Now, next activism was when Cablevision, as Victoria told you, exercised forbidden editorial control over public access TV. Don't you think that's a great institution? You cannot exercise editorial control over public access TV. We are the ones, folks, who are not owned by the corporations, and we can tell the truth. And so they took the program off the TV, and then I sued them, and the judge ruled that Glendora has a statutory right to be on TV and must be returned to TV. Now, who is Cablevision? Hey, Cablevision owns Madison Square Garden, the New York Rangers, the New York Knicks, Radio City Music Hall, the Rockettes, and Long Island Newsday. And they were told to put the program back on, and it was a pro se that did it. Now, the other lawsuits, I was in the courts for 20 years, and the corrupt judges, the crooked lawyers, and even the clerks are abominable. And I must have sued over 100 judges. George McDermott here has sued over 80. I even sued 8 judges of the Supreme Court of the United States. And upon this basis, folks, that they took an oath to protect the Constitution of the United States, and they perjured that oath. The Glendora Public Access Television Network, folks, goes from Portland, Oregon, San Francisco, San Jose, San Diego, Los Angeles, clear across the San Antonio, Texas, clear across the Washington, D.C., up the East Coast to Jersey, Philadelphia, all of the 5 boroughs of New York City where you folks live, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. And the particular activism that's going on today is happiness. And we use as our teachers Buddha, and we use Brother Lawrence, who had a great ability to stay in the presence of God, and Jesus the Christ. And now we are activism for good eating, plant-based diet, a saintly regimen of eating, and we are activists for the animals. And let's see. Oh, this is funny, I think. The kids in the old days used to say, we watch Glendora on TV. You know what they say now, folks? We watch Glendora on the computer. Isn't that interesting? Well, last thing I have to say to you all is that the activism today on TV, on the 68 TV stations, and this is 10,396 programs, is this. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbors yourself. Jesus said it, and Jesus was right.
Kathy Andrade was a recipient of the Lemlick Award in 2001 as a garment worker, as an organizer, as an amazing human being, and also as a quilter. Kathy Andrade
recognize these wonderful women and the job that they have done in our labor movement. Thank you very, very much. Now, I have been asked, because of the fact that Milton Glaser designed the cover of my book of poems and songs, I've been asked...
So everyone can see you.
Oh.
I'm going to move.
I've been asked to sing one of the songs in the book that my colleagues have just published, For Better or Verse, which I hope you'll have an opportunity to read and sing to. The song is called The Song of the Pennies, and it tells the story of the struggle between the pennies, who are the 99%, and the greenbacks, who are the 1%. And this is the Song of the Pennies. I'm going to do the chorus first, and then the song itself. The chorus goes as follows. So sang the pennies, so sang the pennies, we're a heads-up bunch of fellas, and we won't be turning tail. We don't get much on the market, but our souls are not for sale, and we won't be going and jingling down a crooked two-bit trail. The pennies of the nation spoke one day in words a-glistening. The pennies are the working folk, their words make powerful listening. They don't get much time for talking while they do the country's chores, but whenever they start speaking up, the greenbacks better pause. So sang the pennies, so sang the pennies, we're a heads-up bunch of fellas, and we won't be turning tail. We don't get much on the market, but our souls are not for sale.